BFBS Radio 2, one of the many hits of the Manic Street Preachers, if you tolerate this. Manics have got a new album coming out in a couple of weeks' time called Rewind the Film. And I spoke to lead singer James Dean Bradfield just a few days ago.
How are you doing this time?
21 years, that's a heck of a time, isn't it, to be doing this thing?
It is. Well, I think, somebody came up with a stat once that for signed major label acts, the average age of a band is 2 albums, and we're on our 11th, and it's longer than a lot of marriages as well. So
when you made the first one, did you have any kind of idea how long you thought this could work for?
I kind of did, yeah. I wanted kind of trying to attain some kind of longevity immediately. I wanted to see it as a long haul. I wanted to be the Clash. Whereas Nick and Richey wanted to be the Sex Pistols, They wanted to explode like a fiery phoenix into the sky with one kind of Roman candle moment of greatness and never come back again.
And then disappear just as quick.
But I pushed Plan B a bit,
So you didn't have like a backup of sort of what will I do when it all falls apart? A backup job. What would you have been, do you think, James?
Well, I did look in. I had faint notions of being a tree surgeon, a forestry commissioner, an actor, somehow joining the priesthood, which was a very young, deluded thing. So,
really?
From kind of like a mad, like 11, 12-year-old ambition to join the priesthood, and then it became a Manic Street Preacher, so it all turned out okay.
And when you were into whatever number of the 11 albums, when did you think, hey, yeah, I think we're here to stay now, I think we're doing all right? When did you think that?
I don't know, it's really strange, because I've never had that kind of moment of clarity in my head where I think, this is it, we are elder statesmen, we are established. Because we've kind of, ridden through so many different movements in music. When we first formed, the Manchester thing was going on. Then the Seattle thing was going on. Then the Britpop thing was going on. And the rave scene, kind of like, and kind of like the noughties. And we've kind of managed to kind of orientate our way through all these different movements and kind of be on our own. But I'm always aware that kind of time might catch you up at some point, and it's good to have a bit of fear. We never have that moment where we think we can do what we want to do. We're here to stay. Because once you start thinking like that, you're kind of done for, I think.
So it's all about reinventing yourself, really, isn't it?
It's all about reinventing. Well, I don't know about reinvention. It's all about kind of trusting that schizo inner voice in your head to do stupid things. Sometimes to do stupid things or take a stupid direction as a band is what saves you in a strange way.
But you're kind of doing that, aren't you, with this new album? You're not taking it for granted that this is going to be, a huge success. But I guess, you want it to be. I guess there's never a moment that you don't want the album to, whichever album it is, to be a hit.
Well, number one, you never take it for granted, ever. And number two, you're kind of aware when you're taking a risk sometimes. And I suppose, a lot of people know us for songs like Design for Life, If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next, Your Love Alone Is Not Enough, which, for the want of a better word, some people see as very anthemic, and this is much more reflective, much more gentle. So, you're aware of that risk in your head, and you just got to go with it. Otherwise, I think we've had one experience in the past of actually not following our inner voice, and it kind of went wrong. I won't say which record it was.
I was going to ask you that, but you're not going to let on.
Because I'll have a bucket load of, emails of fans saying kind of like, yeah, how dare you slag off that album? It's my favourite.
Yeah,
so I won't do that.
So this album, it is different, isn't it? I mean, you're stripping everything bare as such, aren't you? You're stripping everything bare.
It's really scary, really. We're not stripping everything bare. We're just taking away my electric guitar, which just goes to show how much space my guitar took up.
You're on it. You're doing one track with your electric, and that's it.
Yeah, there's one solo on there, and I think I was given a strict quota of notes I could not go beyond by Nick and Sean. For me to be, playing my kind of wannabe Slash kind of Gibson Les Paul moments over some of these lyrics would have been incongruous, to say the least. And it's where the lyrics lead you, and that's what happens.
Let's just talk about the title track, because Richard Hawley, your vocal and Richard's work so well together.
It's like Rennie and Renata, isn't it?
Let me hide under that sheet.
The verse was built around somebody else's melody. It's not a sample because we recreated this other person's melody bit by bit, and then we created the other half of the song where I burst into my voice, is our part of the song. And I just realised that I couldn't sing, the first half of the verses in the song. There was something there which was just, literally deeper and just subtler. And I'm just I've got kind of a high voice, girl's voice, some people say. And I'm not too good at subtlety sometimes with my voice, I I'm doing all that stuff. And I just knew my voice couldn't carry the first part of the song. And instinctively, I just thought of Richard Hawley, who is one of my very few musician mates. And I instinctively knew that he'd work in it. I gave him a call, he came to Cardiff, and he did it in 2 takes. And I was just, my instinct was going to be right, that other people might open these songs up, by the nature of their voices, just having a bit more subtlety to them.
You'll have to take him on tour now, you know that, don't you?
That could be bad, because he likes his beer, the boy. And so do I. And I've trained myself not to drink on the road. I drink when I go to the rugby. I drink when I go out with my mates. But I don't drink on the road because it really messes your throat up. And he does like his ale.
He likes to drink.
He does, yes.
But you haven't long been back from Australia and New Zealand, have you? You're talking about rugby. How did that go?
Oh, God, that was mixing pleasure with pleasure. I had when I was 10 years old, I remember thinking, I want to go on a British Lions tour one day, because I was banging my rugby, being born in the valleys and stuff. And I remember thinking, 10 years old, one day I want to do that. Then you get to 20, you haven't done it. Then you get to 30, you haven't done it. Then you get to 40, you haven't been on a British Lions tour. And I think it was me that said to the band, why didn't we just go and play in Australia? We can just follow the tests around. And we can finally get on a British Lions tour, and we can mix pleasure with pleasure.
You were on a total jolly.
Absolute jolly. I cannot deny it for a second. It was complete and utter joy from start to finish. It was amazing.
So this album, quite reflective, intimate, delicate, I think a word has been used to describe it. Is that how you would sum it up?
Yeah, I do think. They definitely, you've got to be honest with yourself. We're 44 and we're still in a rock and roll band. In a lot of people's eyes, there's an element of ridiculousness to that. So if people are constantly asking you why you're still in a rock and roll band at the age of 44, the one thing you can be is completely and utterly, down to the last grain of salt, honest with yourself. And the lyrics that came out were what just came out for Nick, and these were lyrics dealing with a sense of loss, a sense of time passing and never being able to get certain things back, not being able to get certain parts of...
A lot to do with Richey then, though.
Your culture back. Well, Richey, but a lot of people that have passed away, as you get older, a lot of people that you care about, pass away. It's just his life. And you feel as if you've lost parts of the culture you grew up in, parts of people that taught you everything you know pass away. And there's a sense of mortality there, but also this offset with real celebrations of the things that we still cling on to and still exist and that we love. And Show Me the Wonder is a certain celebration of trying to reclaim a sense of innocence in that song.
Well, we'll play the single. That's probably I think the most upbeat track on the album. Would you say that, Show Me the Wonder?
It certainly is, yes.
We'll play that in just a minute. I've just got to reflect on something that happened to you in the 90s in Bradfield when you played to the British forces. You've got a story, haven't you, about that? What happened?
I think
was it a riot?
I think it's a story everyone might expect. It was in Bradfield, which is strange because Nick's father, Nicky Wire's father, was based in Bradfield, I think, when he did his national service. And so we did a gig, and then suddenly the whole filled up, and there was suddenly 1,000 people there. Most of them seemed to be squaddies, and man, the security really earned their money that night. It was good, I gotta say. There was nothing really nasty, but it was like full-on crowd surfing, full-on coming over and just
Well, they know how to party, James. They know how to party.
Bar ran dry.
That was just you.
No, they chucked a lot of it over me. But it was a great gig. But I was just like, man, if they're going to ask me to play a 12-bar blues, I'll just play it.
Well, I hope you're going to tour Europe. I know you're doing a few dates in September in the UK. Well, is there a chance you'll go to Germany and tour? Is that on the cards?
When we usually play Germany, we're usually playing in Berlin, Munich, Cologne, and Frankfurt, I think, or Dusseldorf. And, they're the places we usually play. And, we do okay in Germany. We do well there. And
part of the album has been recorded there, hasn't it?
Some of it, yeah, some of it. And We were influenced by quite a lot of German music when we were young, very obscure stuff kind of thing. And I got a couple of friends that live out there, and I just never have a bad time when I go to Germany. What can you dislike? It's a great place. The beer's always cold and the sausages are always good.
Well, it's great to hear that you're back, and we're really looking forward to the album, which is coming out on the 16th of September. The single's out on the 9th. Am I right? I think 9th of September. We're going to play that now. James, thanks a lot. Give our best to all the other guys, and we'll catch you around, and we'll look forward to seeing your tour as well. Thanks very much, James.
Cheers, Simon.
This is no friend.